my story today. My fancy globe, and I'm spinning it, and we're going to, it's all black, it doesn't matter on this thing. We're going to Innsbruck, Austria. So if you see this background, it's a little, pixels aren't the greatest, but that is Innsbruck, Austria. So you guys always hear about the Swiss Alps, right? Well, Innsbruck, Austria also has a portion of the Alps. And so the reason I put this border around today's picture is because when we were there, we took a gondola up to one of the peaks. And the day before, Casey had sent me this, it's like one of those windmill things that, you know, kids hold with the plastic straw, and then in the wind, it just flies around and around and around. And I'll never forget, it had smiley faces and it looked just like these. And so at the top, all of us were getting such a hoot out of watching this thing spin and spin and spin because it was windy. It was absolutely gorgeous up there. We saw sheep as we were riding the gondola up, and looking down over the town. Innsbruck is a complete storybook town. The Winter Olympics was held in this town a while back. I also want to tell you, if you've ever seen the classic movie Sound of Music, it was also filmed in Austria, not this town specifically, but again, gorgeous, gorgeous country. Now, with that said, I'm going to tell you guys, before I knew that there was a country called Austria, whenever somebody said Austria, I thought they were talking about Australia. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, those are two different countries, okay? So Austria is in the southern hemisphere. Austria is in Europe. Learn something new every day. I hope you knew that one, but if you didn't, that's okay, because I didn't for a long time either. Okay, so my story. A bunch of us went and got rollerblades when I was over on this trip to Europe, because it was just something easy to throw into our suitcases and then use as a mode of transportation when we were in some cities. And so we strapped on our rollerblades and started riding around the cities. And this one particular day, I was rollerblading around Austria, around the town, and I ran into these boys. And we started talking. I'll never forget, one of the boys' names was Chris. It was easy to remember, American name, right? Well, it ended up that they were all sponsored skateboarders and rollerblade, like, hot shots. And so eventually they asked me, do you want to go over to our skate park? We can show you. And I said, yeah. And so I followed them over to their skate park, and you guys talk about picture perfect. It was along this beautiful river, all these trees, like you could only make this up in a book kind of thing. And they started showing off. They had their half pipe and all their jumps, and I'm sitting there like a little tourist taking pictures and probably making them think that they are so cool. And I really did think they were so cool. And so finally they looked at me and they said, do you want to try the half pipe? And I was looking at my rollerblades and I'm like, okay. So I get up on the half pipe, and it's one of those moments where you're looking down and you have 1,000 thoughts going through your mind, and you're like, okay, if I fall, I'm in another country. I don't know where the hospital is. I don't even have a phone on me. So what would I do? And then you're getting nervous because you're thinking, I just need to get to the other side. But the further, like the longer you stand there, you're just making it worse and worse and worse. So finally, I go down the half pipe. And I just go back and forth and back and forth. I did not do any like crazy awesome like tricks or anything, but I will tell you, I was just happy I didn't fall. And what had happened is my friends that I surfed with, they had converted a warehouse on our university campus into a skate park. And so I used to go over there with my rollerblades, and I'd get on the half pipe, and it was just kind of like my fun outside of the water. But of course, surfing was better because if you fell in water. And rollerblading, skateboarding, you fall on concrete. That hurts a little bit more. So anyway, it was just a spontaneous moment in another city, another country. And those are experiences that you can never buy with a tourist, like with a tour or anything. So it was just absolutely awesome.